Hello, everyone. I wanted to talk to y'all about the spirit of fear and how we, of course, cannot destroy the spirit of fear, but we can control it and use it to our will and to our purpose and for whatever we want to use it for. It can be a protective energy, establishing like a shield of fear. It's almost like a shield of protection in which, kind of like an alarm system in which you establish this boundary of fear around, let's say, your house, so that people will look towards your house and feel like, I don't want to go to that house. And you can have it where it's permeable, where it's not for everyone. Everyone won't have that same sense where it actually will open up only for those who you deem um, okay to allow into your presence and allow into your home, into your space, into your dwelling. So the spirit of fear is not something to be feared. It's essentially something to have control over and to feel comfortable with so that it does not stop you from doing anything that you have set your mind to doing. The spirit of fear it's something that is outside of you. It's not something that you've created. Now, remember, you are God. You have created everything in existence. Even though you've only been probably living for only so many years, um, you are of a bloodline. You are of an existence on this earth, in this realm, for a very, very long time. Your ancestors are you, and you are your ancestors. So, whatever they created, essentially, you created. And so, we know that the spirit of fear we did not create in us. So if we know we did not create that spirit within us, then it must be something outside of us that has come to block our path and to hinder us from achieving something. Now, what that something is, we can go into great depths about it, but for the sake of this video, just purely thinking upon the spirit of fear, we know that if you're trying to block us from this something that we need to get to, that means you are no benefit to me, to us. So that means we need to find a way to either get rid of it. And since we know we can't get rid of it per se, we can't destroy it completely, we need to figure out a way to be not only aware of it, but to use it. Okay, how can we use it? All right, and one way that we know we can use it is as a because of course you want to be aware. So if you're aware, that means you know when something is present, you know why something is being used, you know why something exists. So if you know that the spirit of fear exists to stop you, then you know that when you sense that feeling of fear upon you, that you need to keep going, that's a sign that you need to keep going, that you need to pursue this, because that fear is only there to stop you from achieving whatever it is that you are meant to achieve. Sometimes, like I said before, the spirit of fear can be used as protection. So sometimes you'll get an inkling in you that that you feel is from you, almost a part of your instincts. Well, that's your ancestors essentially tapping you on the shoulder and saying, hey, yo, don't go down there. Or, hey, yo, maybe you want to not uh, go to work today. I've had that happen before where I was ready to go to work. I was ready to get things done and to deal with these crazy ass, coworkers and boss. And it's like, I was preparing myself. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, I got this huge. I don't get migraines often. In fact, I started to get migraines during as a symptom of ascension. I didn't know it at the time, but it hit really hard the very, very first time I got it in my 20s and early 20s, because I'm still in my 20s for now. And and so it hit really hard. And then I learned over the years that, oh, this is essentially a sign for me to slow down, that something is happening that I need to be aware of, but I also need to be away from. It's almost like a shield of protection from me doing something that is essentially no good for me. And so this migraine hit and hit really hard. And I couldn't do anything really. I was like, I just need to lay down. My normal remedy for helping me out with migraines, I don't take medicine for it. I'm not a big medicine taker. So I take a really relaxing shower, let the water, hit my head, essentially kind of cool my head. And then I go and either lathering myself up with some healing lotion, as I call it, my healing potion. I go lay down and I rest. And I wake up rejuvenated and better than ever. But I had to go to work. So, I made the split decision like, look, I'm calling in, I'm not going in. And so after I did my whole healing process and was laying down, I basically had a wake dream or a vision in which I heard and saw my coworkers, talking amongst themselves and basically saying, oh, she's not coming in. You should stay a few more hours. Hey, I kind of wanted some more hours. This is great, cool, whatever. And they went about their day. And I felt totally okay, like I didn't let anybody down or didn't put extra work upon, my coworkers, because I don't want to do that. But it was eye-opening for me in a way where I was able to learn something from that experience, that something was going to happen that I didn't need to be a part of. And later down the road, some months later, end up learning that two coworkers got into it, and it was meant to happen. Everything is destined. Everything's meant to happen, and it caught the attention of some higher ups, and so some people ended up quitting in order to avoid getting fired. And so I kind of like avoided the storm. I was, out of the eye of people looking for someone or something to say, okay, we want to fire some people. So I essentially was protected from that. So that has nothing to do with fear per se. And since I was afraid I was going to lose my job, I had no fear at all. But essentially, the fear of, is this something more than a migraine? Is this something more? Am I dying? Because I'm telling you, if you've never had a migraine before, you feel like you are dying, like your head is about to explode. It is painful. I wish it upon no one. It is so painful. And so, my human instinct is to go to, am I dying? Oh my God. But, my higher mind went to, something must be up. Let me slow down and let me take this opportunity, which is actually a valid excuse, really, because, I needed some way to get out of going work that day. I didn't know it though, but spirit, my higher self and spirit and my ancestors knew that I didn't need to be there that day. So that really comes into play with knowing yourself, knowing thyself, knowing yourself so that when your instincts kick in, you don't doubt your instincts, okay? Because doubt is just the cousin of fear, all right? You don't doubt your instincts, but you instead trust in your intuition, trust in your instincts, trust that whenever that spirit of fear is in your presence or in your surrounding area, you know that something is happening and you know how to make the right moves accordingly. But you don't allow it to overcome you and you be overcome with the spirit of fear so that you don't make a move or that you miss out on something or miss out on an opportunity or you go into a situation or a circumstance in which you are not protected or something ends up happening to you because that alarm went off and you did not take notice. And another example would be when a performer is about to go on stage. You hear a lot of times performers or musicians say how they get nervous or they get kind of like butterflies in their stomach, get kind of jittery right before they go on stage. And very skilled performers know that this is a good sign, that basically that that jolt of fear, that little jitteriness that you get, that nervousness that you get, is a sign that you're about to go and you're about to kill it and you're about to do something really amazing and really great. Usually for spirit, especially when you're doing performance type pieces, no matter if it's music or acting or anything like that, anything of the arts, you really are adding to spirit. Well, of course, fear is going to come right before that moment, because fear wants to block you and stop you from, you know, giving that amazing performance. And if you let fear take a hold, or if you become so nervous that you mess up, you do a terrible job, all that stuff, you basically allow fear to win and you allow fear to take over. So remember, God, which is you, did not give us or create in us the spirit of fear, but of power, of love, and of a sound mind. So that means that you know that you have power. You know your power. You are working and operating on the vibration of love, which is supreme when we're talking about energies. And it overpowers fear in every instance. So that's the vibration you should be operating on if you want to defeat fear. And of a sound mind. A sound mind means that you're balanced in mind, that you're not doing things erratically, that you have control over your mind. Okay, that nothing controls you, but you have control over your creation, over your mind, over your thought processes, and essentially over the emotions or the spirits. Remember, because emotions are spiritual entities, they are energies that we can use accordingly. So you can take that nervousness and take it as a confirmation that, hey, I'm about to go kill it, and I'm about to really do great, and this is going to be great, and this is my sign to let me know. And then you break through the threshold that fear is trying to block you from. You break through that and you're able to reach and soar the way that you are meant to soar. It's extremely important that you do not allow fear to overcome you. Fear has blocked many of us, from, reaching higher consciousness, from exploring the dark, because we are so comfortable in the light that we don't go further, that we don't take it further, that we don't extend ourselves. Fear has stopped a lot of people. It's a mechanism. It is what it is. People have been using this mechanism of fear for a very long time, whether you know it or don't. It's going to be used. So why not be aware of it? Why not know it by learning it so that you can use it too? Not in a malicious way, which is how it's been used. It's used to stop, for example, many blacks from going into their African spiritual traditional systems, or even just delving deep into consciousness. Certain things they use to scare us away from this higher consciousness, from this light that exists. Fear has been used to block us, to stop us, to look at voodoo, to look at hoodoo, to look at anything that is not westernized, or anything that is not so-called normal for our society. It's looked at and deemed as bad, as demonic, as satanic, and not even knowing that it's not like that. And we see it a lot with this so-called Illuminati. Yes, there is an Illuminati. Do they have as much power as people have tried to claim that they do? No, they do not. They in fact know that you have all the power. Especially if you're listening to this video, you are on my channel, you're subscribed to my channel, you somehow saw my light and you were drawn to me, then I already know that you are conscious enough to understand that, or at least learn that the Illuminati wish they had the power that you have. They know how powerful you are, and so they try to block you from reaching that. And they try to demonize the main people who are actually helping with your enlightenment. And you can take that how you want to take it. But that's it. That's all I really want to talk about when it comes to fear. Don't allow it to overtake you, especially as we go into holiday season, especially as we go starting off the holiday season with Halloween and the Day of the Dead and all the other, spiritual systems that are out there that people are celebrating, Wiccan and all the rest. Um, no matter what you celebrate, no matter how you celebrate it, no matter how you take it, remember that these spirits are nothing to be afraid of. There's nothing to fear. There's nothing to fear. Don't even fear itself, okay? Take it as something to enjoy and to revel in and to be excited about. You know, um, I've had plenty of dreams where I was confronted with monstrous looking entities that should have scared the living crap out of me. And initially they did. But then I grew, I learned my power, I learned how mighty I am, I learned that I am God and that they have no control over me. They have no power over me. And that I instead have power over them. And basically said, get the fuck out of my way. I am going to attain this light that I seek. And the only way to do that is to go to the darkness. Then you can see clearly to see where the light is. With that being said, love you all. Love you all. And don't let fear overcome you. Keep trailblazing on through all of those borders and boundaries. Keep trailblazing on. Love y'all. Peace.